The first shout came during the gentle piano intro of Human Nature. A man's voice, slurred and angry, cutting through the music like broken glass. "You're a fake, Jackson. You don't know real pain." 20,000 people froze. Security moved toward row J, seat 9. But Michael Jackson raised his hand, the universal signal to stop. And what happened in the next 12 minutes would prove that sometimes the people who hurt us the most are simply the people hurting the most themselves. But to understand this moment, we need to go back. Not just hours, but months. We need to understand who Ray Morrison was before alcohol and rage brought him to Madison Square Garden on September 11th. 6 months earlier, Ray Morrison was a different man. He was 41 years old, working as a construction foreman in Queens, New York. Good job, steady income, respected by his crew. He had a wife, Linda, married for 14 years. And most importantly, he had his daughter Emily, 12 years old. Blonde hair like her mother, blue eyes that lit up when she smiled. Emily was everything to Ray. His reason for getting up in the morning, his reason for working hard, his entire world. Emily loved Michael Jackson with the pure, absolute devotion that only a 12-year-old girl can have. Her bedroom walls were covered in posters. Thriller, Bad, every magazine cover, every interview clipping. She knew every lyric to every song, could do all the dance moves, spent hours in front of the mirror, practicing the moonwalk until she got it perfect. And every morning, without fail, she would play Human Nature while getting ready for school. That song was her favorite. "Dad," she would say, "this song makes me feel like everything's gonna be okay, you know." Ray didn't really understand Michael Jackson's music. Wasn't his generation, wasn't his style. But he loved that it made Emily happy, and that was enough. Ray and Linda's marriage wasn't perfect, but it was solid. They had their arguments like any couple. Money stress, work stress, the normal pressures of raising a kid in New York City. But they loved each other. They were a team. They were building a life together. And then Ray made a mistake, a stupid, preventable mistake that would cost him everything. It started small, beer after work with the guys. Nothing unusual. Construction is hard work, and a cold beer at the end of a long day felt earned. 1 beer became 2. 2 became 3. Soon Ray was stopping at the bar most nights, getting home late, smelling like alcohol. Linda noticed, started commenting on it, started worrying, but Ray brushed it off. "I'm fine. I got it under control. Don't worry so much." But he didn't have it under control. The drinking got worse. He started showing up to job sites with hangovers, making mistakes, forgetting safety protocols. His crew noticed, his boss noticed, and one morning in March, Ray showed up to work, still drunk from the night before. He climbed scaffolding 3 stories up, lost his balance, nearly fell. His boss, Mr. Henderson, a patient man who had given Ray chances before, finally had enough. "Ray, I'm sorry. I can't have you on my sites anymore. You're a liability. You're fired." Ray went home that afternoon and told Linda he'd been let go, told her it was budget cuts, told her he'd find something else soon. But Linda wasn't stupid. She could smell the alcohol, could see the truth in his eyes. "Ray, you have a problem. You need help. Please, for Emily's sake, for our sake, get help." But Ray's pride wouldn't let him admit it. "I don't have a problem. I just need to find another job. Give me some time." Time didn't help. Ray spent his days half-heartedly looking for work, and his nights drinking away what was left of their savings. Linda watched her husband disappear into someone she didn't recognize. And Emily, sweet Emily, watched her hero father become someone she was afraid of. The breaking point came on a Tuesday in June. Ray came home drunk at 2 in the morning, stumbling and loud. Emily woke up, came downstairs, saw her father barely able to stand. "Daddy," she said, her voice small and scared. "Are you okay?" Ray looked at his daughter's frightened face, and something inside him shattered. But instead of getting help, instead of admitting he had a problem, he got angry. Angry at himself, angry at the world. And that anger came out as yelling, Go back to bed, Emily. Mind your own business. Emily started crying. Linda came downstairs, put herself between Ray and their daughter. That's it, Linda said, her voice shaking but firm. I'm done. We're done. I'm taking Emily and we're leaving. You can't be around her like this. You just can't. Linda, I didn't mean. Yes, you did. Maybe not consciously, but you meant it. And I can't let Emily grow up thinking this is normal, that this is what fathers are supposed to be like. The next morning, while Ray was passed out on the couch, Linda packed bags for herself and Emily. They left before Ray woke up, went to stay with Linda's sister in New Jersey. And when Ray finally came to, finding the apartment empty except for a note saying, "Get help, then call us," he realized he had lost everything that mattered. That was 3 months ago. Ray had tried calling. Linda wouldn't answer. Tried showing up at her sister's place. They wouldn't let him see Emily. Got a restraining order. Legally, Ray couldn't come within 500 feet of his own daughter. His drinking got worse. His apartment became a mess. His life became a mess. And somewhere in his broken mind, Ray started blaming Michael Jackson. It wasn't logical. It wasn't rational. But Emily's devotion to Michael Jackson became symbolic of everything Ray had lost. That poster on her wall, showing Michael mid-moonwalk, perfect and beloved. That Human Nature song she played every morning. Those dance moves she practiced. All of it represented the happiness that Ray could no longer provide. In his twisted, alcohol-soaked logic, Michael Jackson became the enemy, the competition, the man who had his daughter's love when Ray no longer did. So when Ray saw that Michael Jackson's bad tour was coming to Madison Square Garden, something dark took hold. He spent nearly his last dollar on a ticket. Row J, seat 9. Not close enough to be thrown out immediately, but close enough to be heard. He wasn't planning to attack anyone, wasn't planning violence. He just wanted to hurt Michael Jackson the way he was hurting. Wanted to bring the king of pop down a notch. Wanted to prove that Michael didn't have all the answers. Didn't understand real pain. Didn't know what it felt like to lose everything. September 11th, 1988. Ray showed up to Madison Square Garden at 6 p.m., 3 hours before showtime. Started drinking in a bar across the street. By the time doors opened at 8 p.m., he was 6 beers deep and looking for a fight with anyone or anything that represented happiness. The arena was packed, 20,000 people streaming in, excited, happy, wearing Michael Jackson t-shirts, carrying signs, singing his songs. Ray moved through them like a ghost, his bitterness radiating outward. Found his seat, Rail J, seat 9, middle section, perfect acoustics for his voice to carry. The show started at 9 p.m. Michael Jackson exploded onto the stage with "Wanna Be Startin' Something." The crowd went absolutely wild, 20,000 people on their feet, screaming, crying, losing their minds with joy. And Ray sat there, arms crossed, seething. Song after song. Bad. The Way You Make Me Feel. Billie Jean. Each one perfect. Each one executed with the precision and artistry that made Michael Jackson the king of pop. And each one made Ray angrier. Because watching this perfection, this joy, this man who seemed to have everything, only reminded Ray of his own spectacular failure. And then came Human Nature. That song, Emily's song. The gentle piano intro started. The soft, intimate melody that Emily used to play every morning. And something inside Ray snapped. "You're a fake, Jackson." Ray's voice, slurred and angry, cut through the music. "You don't know real pain." 20,000 people near Ray turned to look, confused, shocked. Who yells during Human Nature? Who disrupts the most beautiful moment of the show? Michael kept singing, didn't acknowledge the interruption. Professionals know how to handle hecklers. Ignore them, don't give them attention. Let security handle it quietly. Bill Tucker, Michael's head of security, was already moving. He spoke urgently into his radio. "We have a disturbance. Row J, seat 9. Subject appears intoxicated, moving to intercept." But Ray wasn't done. The alcohol had dissolved whatever filter he had left. "You don't know anything about real life," he shouted again, louder this time. "You live in a bubble. You don't know what it's like to lose everything." People around Ray started booing. "Shut up. Sit down. Get out of here. Someone threw a wadded-up program at him. Security was 10 rows away and closing fast. And then Michael Jackson did something nobody expected. He stopped singing. Just stopped. Mid-verse. The band continued for 3 more bars before the musical director, confused, signaled everyone to stop. The music died. 20,000 people fell silent, and Michael walked to the edge of the stage, microphone in hand, looking directly at row J. Bill Tucker froze in the aisle, hand on his earpiece, waiting for instructions. "Michael," he said quietly into his radio, "we're 30 seconds from removal. Say the word." But Michael wasn't looking at Bill. He was looking at Ray, really looking. Not with anger, not with judgment, with something else, curiosity, concern. And when Michael spoke, his voice filled the arena through the massive sound system. "Sir, you want to say something to me? I can hear you. Everyone can hear you. So come up here and say it properly. Say it to my face." The arena erupted in confused murmurs. "What? Is this part of the show? Is this real?" Ray, suddenly having the undivided attention of Michael Jackson and 20,000 witnesses, felt his courage waver. This wasn't the plan. He'd expected to be thrown out, expected to yell a few insults and then get dragged away, feeling like he'd struck some kind of blow. But this, being invited onto the stage? "Come on," Michael said, his voice gentle but firm. "You have something to say to me. Come say it. I'm listening." Bill Tucker spoke urgently into his radio again. "Michael, this is not protocol. We don't invite threats onto the stage. We need to Bill." Michael's voice came through the security channel. "Trust me. Bring him up. But gently. He's not dangerous. He's just hurting." Bill hesitated. 23 years in security. Worked with presidents, rock stars, politicians. Never once had he been asked to escort a heckler onto the stage as an invited guest. But Michael Jackson had never steered him wrong. If Michael said do it, there was a reason. Bill reached row J. Ray was sitting there, suddenly looking much smaller than his voice had suggested. A man in his 40s, slightly overweight, wearing a wrinkled button-down shirt and jeans, stubble on his face, eyes red from alcohol, and something else, grief. "Sir," Bill said quietly, "Michael Jackson has invited you to join him on stage. Will you come with me?" Ray looked up at this massive security guard, then back at the stage where Michael stood waiting. This was insane. This had to be a trap. They were going to humiliate him in front of everyone. But Ray's alcohol-addled brain, his desperate need to be heard, overrode his survival instincts. He stood up. Bill escorted Ray down the aisle, up the steps, onto the stage. The walk felt eternal. 20,000 pairs of eyes watching, some angry, some confused, all riveted. And there, at center stage, stood Michael Jackson, the king of pop, under bright lights that made his sequin jacket shimmer, looking at Ray with an expression that wasn't what Ray expected. No anger, no mockery, just attention, real attention. "What's your name?" Michael asked as Ray stumbled to a stop 6 feet away. Ray Morrison." "Ray," Michael nodded. "Okay, Ray. You said I don't know real pain. You said I don't know anything about real life. So help me understand. Tell me, what don't I know?" Ray stood there, the arena spinning slightly from alcohol and adrenaline. This was his moment. He'd wanted to hurt Michael Jackson, wanted to bring him down, wanted to make him feel small. But standing here, under these lights, with Michael's calm brown eyes looking at him without judgment, Ray felt all his anger drain away. And what replaced it was something worse. Shame. Ray's voice cracked. "I lost my daughter." The arena was silent, 20,000 people holding their breath. "She didn't die," Ray continued, words tumbling out now. "But I lost her anyway, because I'm a drunk, because I couldn't stop drinking, and I scared her. And my wife took her away, and now I can't see her, and it's all my fault, and I just—" He looked up at Michael, eyes filling with tears. "She loves you, Emily. My daughter. She's 12 and she loves you, and she plays your music every morning. And I used to think it was cute, but now I can't even hear your voice without remembering that I failed her, that I lost her, And I came here tonight because I'm angry and I'm drunk, and I wanted to blame you for some reason, but standing here I realize how stupid that is." Michael listened to every word, didn't interrupt, didn't judge, just listened. And when Ray finished, when his confession ran out of steam and he stood there trembling, Michael did something beautiful. He took a step closer. "Ray, you didn't lose Emily. You lost your way. There's a difference." Ray looked up, confused. "Emily still loves you," Michael continued, his voice soft, but carrying clearly through the sound system. "She's your daughter. That doesn't change because you made mistakes, but you're right about one thing. You did fail her. You failed her by not getting help, by not admitting you have a problem, by running away from your pain instead of facing it." Michael paused, and the stadium was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. "But here's the thing about failure, Ray. It's only permanent if you let it be. You can still fix this. Not tonight, not with one conversation, but you can start." "She won't even talk to me," Ray said, voice breaking. "There's a restraining order. I can't even call her." "What if I called her?" Michael said, and the arena gasped. "What if I called Emily and told her that her dad is here, that he's trying to get better, that he misses her? Would she take my call?" Ray stared at Michael, unable to process what he was hearing. "You would do that?" "I would do that," Michael said simply, "because I know what it's like to grow up without a father who was there, and I know what it means to a little girl when her hero falls. But I also know that heroes can get back up. They just need help." Michael turned to Bill, who was standing off to the side, tears running down his tough guy face. "Bill, do we have a phone backstage?" "Yeah, Michael, we have a phone." "Ray, do you know Emily's number? At your sister-in-law's place?" Ray nodded, numb. "Okay, after the show, you and I are going to call your daughter, together. And you're going to tell her you're sorry and that you're going to get help, really get help this time. And I'm going to tell her that her dad came to my show and that he's a brave man who's trying to fix his mistakes. Sound good?" Ray couldn't speak, could only nod, tears streaming down his face now. 20,000 people watching this broken man, being given a second chance. Michael turned to the audience. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ray. Ray made some mistakes, but he's going to fix them, and we're all going to be here to support him. Because that's what we do. We don't give up on people. We help them get back up." The arena erupted in applause. Not mocking applause, genuine, supportive applause. 20,000 people standing, clapping for a drunk man who had heckled their hero, because their hero had shown them what real grace looked like. Michael gestured for Ray to stand with him. "Ray, I want to sing a song for you, for Emily. It's called Man in the Mirror. It's about looking at yourself honestly and deciding to change. Will you stay up here with me while I sing it?" Ray nodded, unable to speak. The band started the intro, that powerful, emotional piano, and Michael began to sing. But this time it was different, more personal, more raw. He wasn't performing for 20,000 fans. He was performing for one broken father who needed to hear that change was possible. Ray stood at the side of the stage, crying, listening to Michael Jackson sing about making a change, about looking at the man in the mirror and asking him to change his ways. And for the first time in months, Ray felt something besides anger and despair. He felt hope. Small, fragile, but real. When the song ended, Michael walked over to Ray and put his arms around him. A real hug. Not for show, not for the cameras, just human to human. "You can do this, Ray. You can get your daughter back, but you have to do the work. Promise me you'll do the work." "I promise," Ray whispered. "I promise." After the show, Michael kept his word. In his dressing room with Bill standing guard and Ray sobering up with coffee, Michael picked up the phone. Ray gave him the number. Michael dialed. The phone rang 3 times. Then a woman's voice. "Hello? Hello? Is this Linda Morrison?" Michael's voice was gentle. "Yes. Who is this?" "This is Michael Jackson. I'm calling because your husband Ray is here with me at Madison Square Garden." Silence. Then, "Is this some kind of joke?" "No, ma'am. It's not a joke. Ray came to my show tonight and we had a conversation. He wants to talk to Emily. Is she there? More silence. Then muffled, Linda's voice calling, Emily, come here, now. Footsteps. A young girl's voice. Mom, what's wrong? Someone on the phone for you. Hello, Emily, Michael said warmly. My name is Michael Jackson. Your dad wanted me to call you. Emily's scream of shock and joy nearly broke the phone. Oh my God, is this real? Are you really Michael Jackson? I'm really Michael Jackson, and your dad is here with me. He came to my show tonight, and he wants to talk to you. But first, I want to tell you something. Your dad made some mistakes. Big mistakes. But he loves you very much, and he's going to get help. Real help. He's going to get better. For you. Can you give him a chance? Is he there? Can I talk to him? Emily's voice was small now, scared but hopeful. He's right here. Michael handed the phone to Ray. Emily? Ray's voice cracked. Baby girl? Daddy? And Ray heard his daughter's voice for the first time in 3 months. Emily? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I scared you, and I hurt you, and I let you down, and I'm going to fix it. I'm going to get help. Real help. I'm going to go to rehab, and I'm going to get better, and I'm going to be the dad you deserve. I promise you. I promise. Emily was crying now too. I miss you, Daddy. I miss you so much. I miss you too, baby girl. Every single day, and I'm going to earn you back. It's going to take time, but I'm going to earn you back. Okay, Daddy? I love you. I love you too, Emily. So much. When Ray hung up the phone, he looked at Michael through tears. How can I ever thank you? Don't thank me, Michael said gently. Thank me by doing what you promised. Get help. Get better. Be the father Emily deserves. That's how you thank me. Ray went to rehab 2 days later. 90-day program in upstate New York. It was hard, harder than anything he'd ever done. But every time he wanted to quit, he remembered standing on that stage, remembered Michael's words. You didn't lose Emily. You lost your way. Remembered his daughter's voice on the phone. I love you, Daddy. After 90 days, Ray was sober. After 6 months, he was working again. After a year, Linda agreed to let him see Emily under supervision. After 2 years, the restraining order was lifted, and after 3 years, on Emily's 15th birthday, Ray was allowed to move back home. The family Ray had destroyed was slowly, carefully being rebuilt. Ray never drank again, went to NATO meetings every week for the rest of his life, and in his wallet, next to Emily's school photo, he kept a ticket stub, Madison Square Garden. September 11, 1988, Row J, Seat 9, the night he'd gone to heckle the King of Pop and instead found salvation. Years later, in a magazine interview about memorable concert moments, someone asked Michael Jackson about the night he invited a heckler onto the stage. Do you remember that guy? The drunk who was yelling at you during Human Nature. Michael smiled. Ray Morrison. Of course I remember him. He wasn't a heckler. He was a father who lost his way, and I've heard he found it again. That's all that matters. The interviewer pressed. But weren't you angry? Didn't you want to have him thrown out? Why would I be angry at someone who's hurting? Michael said simply, hurt people. But if you respond to their pain with more pain, nothing changes. You have to respond to pain with understanding, with compassion, with love. That's the only thing that actually heals. On September 11th, 1988, Ray Morrison went to Madison Square Garden drunk and angry, planning to hurt Michael Jackson with words. And Michael Jackson responded not with anger, not with security, not with humiliation, but with something Ray never expected. Grace, understanding, a second chance. 20,000 people witnessed it, and every single one of them left that arena understanding something important, that real strength isn't about dominating your enemies. Real strength is about helping them become better. That real power isn't about winning fights. Real power is about ending them with compassion. Ray Morrison had gone to that concert to prove that Michael Jackson didn't understand real pain, and Michael Jackson had responded by showing him that real pain can only be healed by real love. That night, a drunk heckler interrupted a concert, and the King of Pop turned it into a masterclass in human grace.